All right, welcome everybody. Looks like we got a bunch of people in the chat already blowing this up. Welcome Sean, welcome Rich, welcome. Looks like Poojan's back. David Greer messaged me. He said, I did not forget my promise. He's coming to win our CISSP questionnaire again. How are you, Brandon?
That's awesome. We got a good competition going on here.
We do. It's good. I hope Vivek jumps in. I'm sure he's going to want to be part of this too. So welcome everyone. P.S. It looks like David Greer and Rich, it looks like you guys are private LinkedIn members, so we try to throw you up on the screen, but you appear as a LinkedIn user. Brandon just posted the instructions in LinkedIn if you want us to be able to throw up your chat and comments in the sessions so other people can view your name. So up to you, but we do like to throw your chat up there so you can participate. We're going to kick off the question section in about 3 or 4 minutes, so you have a second to do that if you want to open a new tab and just listen as we get to the good stuff. Fair?
Well, that's awesome. Now, did you want to tell them about the next week?
Yeah, so next week is spring break for most people. I know most people aren't going too many places, but we're going to take next week off. So we have a session tonight. We have a session Thursday. We're taking a week off, and we're trying to get everything set up so that we can be migrated over to Twitch or the Insecurity live stream. That is a live stream with 20,000 users already on it. We've been asked to take this show and train the CISSP, and then after that, the CISO content over there.
We're taking it on the road already.
Taking it on the road, but let me see who else is here. So guys, we will be posting on LinkedIn around this same time on LinkedIn with our Twitch stream. So don't worry, if you're here, you will see it. We'll reach out to those of you who are here frequently and get you those that link specifically.
Vivek is here. He's in the house.
Yo, yo, yo. Sounds good. So it looks like a couple people tried those instructions, Brandon, and they weren't working. So that's okay. We know who you are. We can look on the LinkedIn chat and we have you. We're going to go ahead and kick off our question segment. So for those of you who are new, I think Rich is on. I don't believe you were here before, but if you guys can go ahead and throw the thumbs up, the clap signs, the support, the heart, whatever, the insightful thing, but go ahead and spam that real quick. Kind of like this, like I'm going to do real fast, but just spam it, and that will allow your name to pop up at the top so I can see you guys all here, even if you're not in the chat right away. Fair?
Sounds good.
All right, Brandon, are you ready to kick off this questionnaire? We are going to be giving away $25 gift card. I owe Vivek one from B-Dubs still. For some reason, they sent me my money back, and I got to get him a new B-Dubs gift card. But you get to choose Buffalo Wild Wings or Amazon gift card if you are the winner. Now, the way we decide the winner is the person who gets the right answer the quickest.
Exactly. I'm taking notes on the side here. So who was the fastest last week?
It was David. David Greer came through again.
I wonder if is it internet speed? Like, does he have like fiber or T1 connection? Like what's he working on there?
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to ask him. What do you have, Vivek? Hopefully he's got fiber. You guys should all have fiber at this time. Vivek said, "Don't hit the road, Jack." I know one of the things we won't be able to do on Twitch is bring your guys's text in like this. But
so let's ask these guys a question too. I actually never thought about that. Do you any of you guys through your security policies at work don't have access? Like, I don't know where you guys are watching this, from home or from work. If you guys are watching this from work, does your work block Twitch? Something I'd like to know.
That's a good question. All right, I can hit it. That's probably a good thing, right?
Well, you can. I know you guys are locked down, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. David's got Fios gig up and down. Awesome. T1 is slow, dude. And Vivek's got copper, but he's won it a few times, so we can't blame it just on copper connection.
Right.
All right. Looks like Salome is in the house as well. Welcome, guys. So refresh your screen real quick. I am going to be sharing the questions, and we're going to be starting as soon as this page is shared. So if you guys are ready, spam that thumbs up button real quick. And as soon as I see them pop up, I'm going to kick this off. Brandon, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, so we're going to walk through it, guys. Feel free to read ahead and answer as quickly as possible. Make sure you get the right answer, and we're going to walk step by step through the instructions, the right answers, why the ones were wrong, if we get any wrong answers. Here we go. 3, 2, and Peter Franklin in the house. 1. All right, first question. Which one of the following is used to provide authentication and confidentiality for email messages? A, digital signature. B, PGP, C, IPsec AH, or D, MD4? Brandon, walk me through these real quick.
So I'm going to go. Yeah, let's go from top to bottom. So digital signatures is used only to ensure original, but it cannot be authenticated. PGP, pretty good privacy. I'm leaning towards that. All right. IPsec AH can provide encryption, but I don't know if it can do email packets. Packets not on email messages. And then MD4 is an algorithm for integrity. So I'm going with B.
You're going with B. Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay, it is B. And guys, remember, the digital signature is used to ensure the origin, but isn't doing authentication. Remember, the question was authentication and confidentiality for email. So it can't do authentication, which leaves PGP as the only available answer. So it's used for signing, encrypting, and decrypting texts. Most people aren't using PGP for this anymore, but that would be the answer for authentication and confidentiality of email in that realm. Now, let's see. We got some C, we got some D, and it looks like Emmanuel was our B. So congratulations for officially being the last to come in with an answer, but it was correct.
There you go.
You are up 1-0.
He's the first. He's the first right one.
That's right. So we got answers all across the board. So let's walk through these real quick. IPsec, it can provide encryption and authentication, but remember that's at the packet level, right? So you're not going to have encryption and authentication on email messages. And then MD4 is a hashing algorithm, so you can verify the integrity of the data, right, to make sure the hash hasn't changed any which way. So hopefully you guys got that. Congratulations, Emmanuel. Well done. And you guys might have caught a glimpse of question 84, so we're jumping right into it. Which of the following access control models is based on sensitivity labels? Here we go. A, discretionary access control. B, mandatory access control. C, rule-based access control. Or D, role-based access control. Brandon?
So I'd already eliminate C and D, as you guys would know, right? Rule-based and role-based, because it's not sensitivity on labels, right?
Sensitivity labels. Rule-based, right? Because that's based on rules. Role-based, that's based on the role you have in your organization.
Exactly. So you already eliminate that. So you got between A and B. And discretionary access, yes, discretionary control. So you're looking at potentially, and I would be going with mandatory access control.
So mandatory access control. Let's go ahead and reveal that. Mandatory access control is correct, because remember, we ruled out those first two, and this discretionary, yeah, that's for data owners, right? They can decide who has access to the data. Mandatory is correct for B. Let's head over. It looked like, I love Emmanuel. He's studying. I dig it. Guys, if for no other reason, study for the gift card. Okay. He read PGP last night, so he was ready to rock. Looks like Vivek got the right answer. Poojan got the right answer. Christine got the right answer. Oh, all right answers in the house. Well done, guys. Clap it up. Here we go. Well done. Rock stars in the house. All right. Next one coming right up. Brandon, you ready?
Number 85.
All right, hold on. So we got Emmanuel on the board. We got Vivek on the board for the correct answers, right?
Right.
Hold on. No, I think Poojan got it first.
Emmanuel got the first one. Vivek got the second one.
No. Look in LinkedIn. They came in at the same time, but on LinkedIn, Poojan is first, but it came through on Restream as Vivek was first. Is that unreal or what? Do you guys?
Is that a photo finish? Is that what we're looking at right now?
That's a photo finish. I got to share the screen, and I don't know if it's going to freak out on everybody, but look in the chat. I'm going to highlight. I can't highlight it. And it's going to show a bunch of us here in a second. But if you guys can see on the right-hand side right here, Vivek came in first in our screen and Poojan second. But if you guys are in LinkedIn, you guys know Poojan won. So clap it up. Well done. That is impressive. But yeah, Poojan on the board.
Mark that down. Just make
sure.
Got it? Oh, I got it.
All right, cool. Let me get this next question prepped up real quick. All right, hold on. Are you guys still with us? So we're already on question what? Is this question 4?
Question 3.
Question 3. Here we go. All right. Will you mark that in the chat for us, Brandon?
Yeah, I got that there.
That's wild. We're going to have to check the LinkedIn chat now. I just lost faith in Restream chat. All right. Here comes question number 3. Which access control model enables the owner of the resource to specify what subjects can access specific resources based on their identity? We just covered this. So guys, hit this home right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, these right answers just flowing in.
Okay, so we're gonna leave this just for a second, just to see you guys get this quickly, right? Because you already know it's not role based, it's not mandatory. You got between A and C.
He goes, sorry, using DSL. I'm on dial up, so you guys got no excuses. No, I'm just playing. That is too funny.
So you got A and C right now, and then
who came through? Who came through first? All right, I get Emmanuel in Restream. Verify this over on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And I got Poojan first still.
Okay, I don't know what you're seeing over there. I got
in LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn right now. I've got Vivek saying I owe it to Punja, and then I got just verified, and then I got Emmanuel, and then I got Emmanuel with A.
First in LinkedIn.
So I'm looking at my question. Question number 3. I got Emmanuel coming in at A on LinkedIn.
I got Emmanuel at A on Restream, but I'm seeing it as Poojan first.
Interesting.
Oh, you know what? Maybe mine's delayed. Let me refresh this real quick, see if I can get the chat again.
We're having technical challenges right now in the actual competition.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. Well, Brandon, we're going to have to go. If you got Emmanuel first and Restream's got Emmanuel first, then Emmanuel is up 2-1 on the competition. And it looks like most people got that right. Looks like owner is discretionary. Looks like we had somebody come in with C, and that's sensitive access control. So let's walk through at least what's sensitive. Sensitive access control is not a valid access control. Role-based or RBAC, that's depending on the role you have in your company. Mandatory is considered non-discretionary, right? So it's a security label system, and that would leave DAC or discretionary access control as the correct answer. So yeah, sorry about those technical difficulties, guys. But we are going to keep rocking and rolling because we got a gift card to give away. So I've refreshed my page. Let's make sure we're on the same page here. Yeah, somebody said so much for integrity. Sorry. Sorry, what do you expect? We're on LinkedIn Live beta. So hopefully we'll get this fixed here shortly. All right, here we go. Next question coming right up. This one is not about mandatory access control. Which of the following countermeasures would be most appropriate to prevent possible intrusion or damage from war dialing attacks? A, monitoring and auditing for such activity. B, require user authentication. C, making sure only necessary phone numbers are made public. Or D, using completely different numbers for voice and data accesses.
So which of the counters would be the most appropriate to prevent while monitoring and auditing for such activities?
Let's talk about what war dialing is first, fair?
Sure.
War dialing is when you're driving around looking for, and I think it's war driving is what it's talking about, but driving around looking for Wi-Fi that's unprotected, right? And so you can connect to it because you're basically driving around looking for Wi-Fi. Now, war dialing, war dialing automatically scan a list of telephone numbers by dialing every number in the local area. So maybe I am off, but let's go ahead and walk through this real quick. So monitoring and auditing, well, that's not going to prevent anything. Making sure only necessary phone numbers are made public, potentially.
Not necessary, because if your countermeasure, your to intrusion or damage of war drive, if they got a list of numbers that they're just pushing through.
Yeah, but so we got a couple answers coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Who did we get? We got Vivek with B first.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and reveal the solution. Require user authentication. So it says war dialing is a technique using a modem to scan a list of telephone numbers using usually dialing every number in the local area code to search for computers. Hackers use the list for various purposes, and malicious hackers who specialize in computer security for guessing user accounts. So I was when I originally did this, I was talking about war driving, right? And that's looking for wireless Wi-Fi networks. So war driving is driving around looking for Wi-Fi. War dialing is scanning through and calling every number looking for computers. And to prevent that, require user authentication. How do you feel about that, Brandon?
I think it's right because when they're trying to do is they're trying to access the computers, right?
You're right. So who got that one right? Is Emmanuel in the lead?
Vivek.
So who's got points on the board? Talk to me.
So Emmanuel is running number one. It's a tie between Pujem and Vivek.
Yeah, and anybody who wants to skip whatever new show is out, Peter had some good advice. Basis for the movie War Games was War Dialing, so check it out tonight. Is that on your Plex server, Peter? You'll have to share your Plex server with me.
There you go.
All right, here we go, guys. Next question. We got two more. Question 87. Which of the following access control models introduces user security clearance and data classification? Guys, we already covered this one, but we're going to include it. Maybe we'll do two more after this.
Well, let's see who wins, right? For our board.
Yeah. Let's see if there's a tie, right? We'll have to break the tie.
But yeah, this one should be pretty straightforward for you guys.
Yep. Yeah, Emmanuel said use multi-factor authentication. I agree with that, right? Authentication, multi-factor. Authentication just isn't enough these days, right?
Right. So is it A, B, C, or D?
$25 riding on this. Emmanuel's up. Let's see who comes through. We got Vivek with D. We got D, Emmanuel close second. D with Pujan. Salome, Christine, everybody's got it. D is the correct answer. We touched on this earlier. Mandatory access control is for security clearances and data classification levels. So is that a tie?
Oh, now it's a tie between Emmanuel and Vivek.
All right. So Emmanuel, I'm going to give you a quick hint. Refresh your page real quick. I'll give you a second to come back and get the most up-to-date. Vivek, you're not allowed to refresh your screen. I'm handicapping you. Emmanuel's like, please let me win today. You can pass on the gift card. I already owe Vivek one, but I'm going to let him make that decision if he can pull it off, Emmanuel. So let's see you get this next one. This one may be a tricky one. So
I got a challenge for Vivek. Close your eyes and you just have to hear us ask the question. That's the challenge for Vivek, just to make this a little fair, just because he's won so many, right?
All right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. Question 88. Kerberos can prevent which of the following attacks? I really like this question. A tunneling attack. B, a playback attack. C, a destructive attack. Or D, a process attack. Which one can it prevent? Now, Brandon.
So I'm gonna lay back on you because you're the pen tester. So tunneling attack.
Yeah.
Does it relate to Kerberos at all?
No. So think Kerberos is an authentication mechanism which is able to authenticate trusted devices over the open internet, right?
Right.
Or over an untrusted connection. So let's see who came through with this one. We got Herman with B, Christine with B, Vivek with B, Pujan with B, and Emmanuel with B. So we got Herman with B. We still have a tie, so we got to keep going until this tie is broken. Congratulations, Herman Fotzing in the house. I'm going to give a little round of applause for him. Well done on coming through first. That is the first time he's gotten first on one of our questions. So congrats, my friend. Let's throw
okay. So Herman got on the board, which is good. Right now, the actual tie right now is between Vivek and Emmanuel. So what I'm thinking, so we don't kind of keep running on and question other people, just start beating them out. This last question is between Emmanuel and Vivek for this one.
All right, here we go. You heard the man. We are moving down to question 89, our final question. The first between Emmanuel and Vivek to get this answer correct is the winner. And you can't just type A, B, C, D. So you got to answer one. Here we go. Question 89. Which of the following attacks could capture network user passwords? A, data diddling, B, sniffing, C, IP spoofing, or D, smurfing?
Let's see what yeah, so we're not going to give you guys any help. It's a competition between you two.
Yep, here we go. Emmanuel, let's see who wins this $25 Amazon gift card tonight, and then we got to jump into content. We're already sitting at $750.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Talk me through these, Brandon.
Well, I mean, when you're looking at it right now, you look at data diddling, refers to an alteration of existing data. IP spoofing, I wouldn't say that's smurfing. detect and spoof packets. So I'm looking at potentially B.
I agree. If you're sniffing and they're submitting passwords and
I think we have a winner between the two.
it is sniffing. So who do we got? Throw it up.
I think it is Vivek.
Oh, Vivek is looking at Poojan. I mean, it's not a bad tactic, but that is too funny. So congratulations, Vivek, for winning another gift card. We'll leave it up to him to pick whether he wants B-dubs, Amazon, or to kick it to the second in line, which would be Emmanuel. That's on it.
Okay, hold on. I don't know if we have a little bit of cheating here. Do you see what Vivek said? Thanks, Punjan, for the answer.
I mean, is that cheating if you're looking? I don't know. Anyway.
Rewind.
Poojan's a smart cat.
Oh, he is. No doubt about it.
You're on the fence between two. Now, he's not going to be able to do that come exam time, Vivek. So
he's not going to be the voice in your ear, the guy in the chair. Is that what it is for like Spider-Man? The man in the chair?
Right. Oh, good stuff. Well, you know what, guys? Hey, gift card or not, we learned something. Come for the gift card, stay for the content. Today, we're jumping into physical security. So we will get you that. Emmanuel, come back. Kick his hiney on Thursday. We got another gift card, hopefully with your name on it. So let's jump into this. Brandon.
Sure. Vivek, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he can donate if he wants to.
Yeah.
I already owe him one, so if he wants to, I'm happy to let him kick it over to Emmanuel if he wants. All right. So first, we're going to talk about applying security principles to site and facility designs. Now, it should be pretty, blatant and obvious at this point. We've actually touched on this a couple times throughout this class, but this is chapter 10. So we're moving on to a new chapter. We're talking about physical security requirements, and it's digging in deep to the different physical security requirements. And from a CISO perspective, right, that's the perspective you have to have when going into the CISSP exam. You got to focus on your physical environment, basically technical, logical access controls. How can you provide adequate security for your business as a whole? So once again, if somebody gains access, physical access, you look at these vulnerabilities and it always says, hey, requires physical access. That gets the lowest score. Mm-hmm. But because the problem is everybody goes, they'll never get physical access. Yeah, well, if you don't implement this portion, they might. And when they can, there's a lot of bad and nasty vulnerabilities that would then apply to your servers and systems. Fair?
Or anything on your network.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read the chat real quick. Let's see what it says. Sean said LinkedIn froze for a bit. Yep, LinkedIn Live is beta, guys. So it's been interesting today. Vivek said Emmanuel wins. So if not, Thursday. I don't know what that means, Vivek. You got to be more clear with what you're talking about.
I think he's actually donating to Emmanuel.
Is he? We'll clear that up for us, and I can always kick one over to Emmanuel, and who knows, you guys can post pictures of you guys at B-dubs. Tell us what sauce you got.
There you go.
Cool, good stuff. So keep running with it, and then I'll jump into the secure facility plan. Pull up a picture real quick, Brandon.
Sounds good. Yeah, there are many aspects of implementing and maintaining physical security. A core element is selecting or designing the facility to house your information technology infrastructure in your organization's operations. The process of selecting or designing facility security always starts with a plan.
That's right. Now, we're going to jump into secure facility design, but for those of you who aren't focused on physical security for work, we're going to bring it to your home and make it relevant to you and what you should be doing around your house. Fair, Brandon?
That's fair. And then, if you guys have questions about physical security, I did that for 10, 12 years.
Oh, this is your jam then. I'm going to kick everything to you. All right. Seriously, though. Okay, so secure facility plans outlines the security needs of your organization and emphasizes the methods or mechanisms to employ to provide security. Now, part of that is a critical path analysis, and that is a systematic effort to identify the relationships between mission-critical applications, processes, and operations, and all the necessary supporting elements, right, that go into your facility. For example, if an e-commerce server sells products over the web and relies on internet access, computer hardware, electricity, temperature control, storage facility, so on, you have to take that entire critical path into consideration.
And then how can it be compromised through it?
Okay, cool. So it sounds like Vivek has cleared it up. Emmanuel, he was leading most of the time tonight. He's going for the bump. He's passing it on to Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, congratulations, man. I owe you and Vivek both a gift card. So just throw it in the chat if you want Buffalo Wild Wings or an Amazon gift card. I'm happy to deliver either. Just direct message me your email, and that will be waiting for you in the morning. So, all right. Let's bring up the terminology real quick, just so you guys have this, and for those of you who are new to the show, we like pictures here because that's how I learn, and having that mental, if I can see it, I can remember it. So we're not just doing regurgitating book knowledge. We're trying to show you exactly how to implement it. And we actually have a volunteer, another CISSP volunteer who wants to join us. We're going to get past the physical security stuff first, but then we're going to bring him in. Really qualified individuals. We got some CISOs asking to come join us and drop some knowledge on you folks. So keep tuning in. So real quick, Brandon, will you talk through technology convergence and how that applies to critical path analysis real quick?
So, I mean, when you look at technology convergence and you're looking at, just give me a second here, I'm just pulling up here. So you got your critical path, and that's one you were talking about right now that's on the screen. So systematic efforts to identify relationships between mission critical applications, processes. When performed, these analysts technology convergence should be taken into consideration. Right? And then you got your technology convergence, which is tendencies of variations of technologies, solutions, utilities, and systems to evolve and merge over time. So basic concept is that when you guys are upgrading your systems, doesn't mean if it's your water, your heating, your lighting, whatever that may be, you have to look at the whole chain as you're updating it and what can be the compromise, especially when you guys are looking at the IoT devices right now, right? When they have an IP address, you got to look at, can they be compromised to get into the network, right? And then when you're looking at the whole physical security, can it be taken down and affect the other chain, right? So is it on that, subnet is on that network that can be compromised?
Yeah, spot on. And once again, technology convergence, it's just planning for the evolution of technology. How are things going to change? Make these facility plans a living document. So as things change, you update it, you keep it at the forefront. And when you're taking this exam, remember, life and people safety is your primary concern, and it's going to take precedence over everything else. So if you're on the fence like Vivek, don't look at Poojan's answer, or you won't be able to. Lean towards saving someone's life or protecting your people.
Yeah, don't be shoulder surfing.
All right, cool. So let's talk about site selection a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So site selection should be based on security needs of your organization. I mean, you're talking cost, location, size, they're important. But addressing the requirements of security should always take precedence, right? So when you go in, if the cost is perfect, the location is great, the size is immaculate. I mean, it will fit the perfect amount of people, give you some room for growth, but it's in downtown someplace that's being hit by riots all the time, that has a high crime rate. The school districts are bad with kids ditching, and the store at the end of the corner is getting robbed all the time. You may want to reconsider, right?
Exactly. And like you say, environmental threats such as fault lines, tornadoes, hurricanes, region, and close proximity to other natural disasters present significant issues for the site selection process, as well as because you can't always avoid such threats, right? They're natural disasters.
Yeah, absolutely. And the natural disasters parts, we'll come back to that here shortly. But I'm actually going to pull a picture up of an office that I miss. And this was a great office. You didn't have to worry about a whole lot, but they actually did a lot right. Great city, very low crime rates. We picked it in kind of an up and coming city, and we had our cloud engineering team here. So that the second and third floor were our office. Now, when we got there, we had to address a number of things. One, you're on the second floor, and what was at the bottom was actually this awesome pub house called JoJo's. Fantastic beer. So not only did we have to implement work-life, security, but we had the great work-life balance. I mean, it was the best of both worlds. But we had a bunch of people coming into the bar. You got to secure that puppy down. So we had signs at the bottom of the staircase. The bar is not above. It's a private business above. As soon as you get up to the second floor, you have badge entrance only, right? Very secure door. You would have to badge in, badge out. The stairwell on the back, completely locked down, emergency exit only. The old elevator shaft, they buttoned it up. Security cameras all over the place. They did a really good job. and we had a brew house to go to. So, but you got to take that into effect. You know, is it a morning cafe? When are your business hours? Nice part was this business really ramped up as we shut down for the day. So we didn't have to worry about live music, vibrations coming through. They had the kitchen out the back, so we didn't have to worry about smoke, anything else coming up into our offices. So really good stuff. Looks like we got some really good comments. Let's jump back over here. We had, it looks like David Greer. He said, I know one company that lost a data center because someone allowed a propane tank to be put above a trench that housed all their comms. Did it blow up? What happened? Did it just, what was the propane tank for? Were they trying to grill someone? Like what?
He said until it went boom.
Boom. Okay, so you got to give us a little more, David. That's you lose a whole data center from one propane tank. I mean, it must have been a chain reaction because most data centers I've seen are pretty big. And Peter Franklin said, is that Frederick, Maryland? Yeah, actually, when COVID hit, we closed down our Maple Lawn and our Frederick offices. So we no longer have that office, but it was awesome. We just expanded to the 3rd floor. We used to have Frederick tech meetups there all the time. It was fantastic. But Peter, if you're ever in Frederick, let me know. We'll still go to JoJo's, but we won't be working out of that office anymore. All right. Talk about those weather conditions again.
Well, I mean, one thing that we didn't mention is proximity, right? To emergency response personnel is another consideration, along with other elements such as some companies can afford to buy or build their own campuses to keep neighboring elements out of play and to enable tightened access controls and monitoring. However, not every company can exercise the option and must make do with what's available and affordable instead. Right? And then a minimum ensures the building is designed to withstand fairly extreme weather conditions, and that it can be deterred or fend off other break-in attempts. Vulnerability entry points such as windows and doors tend to dominate such analysts, but you should always evaluate objects, trees, shrubs, or man-made items that can be obscured break-in items. So do you know what that means, Joe? Obscure break-in items?
Overt break? I don't know what obscure break-in attempts. So like hiding yourself in like climbing up a tree and jumping through your window.
Things that you can throw through the window too.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, you mentioned something. You said if they can't afford it, the visibility side. Like, what do you mean not afford? So the next section is visibility, and I got to share this because like physical security for me, like you can't afford not to do it, and the prices have come so low on a lot of this stuff. Check out this next picture I got for you. So a lot of people are like, oh, video cameras, they're so expensive. Guys, look at this Ubiquity stuff. I mean, you can't afford not to do it. So heads up, I'm an Ubiquity fanboy. My whole home office is, oh, wrong side. It's all Ubiquity. You can see the little blue light down here. I've got it hardwired with Cat 8. I know I went overboard all throughout my house. But this is their network video recorder. You can have 30 days of 4K video storage for 15 cameras for $299. Now, you still got to buy hard drives for it. But then look, you got a 1080p video camera for $30. You could duct tape that thing to a post and you got high def video. There's no reason not to implement good quality physical security. Brandon?
Yeah, but I think they're talking about all aspects of it, not just cameras, right?
Right.
They're talking about elements, and when you're looking at looking at being close to the emergency response, different types of elements, looking at your line of sight in your windows, and kind of looking at all that whole factors versus just CCTV cameras or video cameras.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. And I think some of that you have to accept some of the risk as well, right? And you'll have to be willing to compromise based on budget and other things as well.
And that's what they're saying here, right? They're saying if you can't afford to create your own, environment, you don't have Google's type of money where you can create your own campus, then you might have to accept the environment and try to pick and choose the best options.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the business, right? You got to map out the risk. What risks could be most dangerous? Now, I had to pull this up real quick because that's pretty crazy. How big of a propane tank are we talking, David? I'm curious. This is a 500. This is 100-gallon tank. How big? Do you have any idea how big the propane tank was? Because yeah, if you drop one of these bad boys under your business and that thing blows up, yeah, you're gonna at least lose communications. The hard part is that that's a risk to people's lives as well. So I'm surprised that that took place.
Oh, for sure. And then, yeah, you're right, Vivek, defense in depth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, defense in depth, right? Now, looks like Peter lives 25 minutes away from Frederick. So once this COVID stuff all lifts, yes, definitely we'll have to grab a bite and a beer. Oh, that's interesting. Also, David says many, and I'm sure a lot of banks do this, but a lot of their data centers aren't marked. So the first time he went to one he was 3 hours late because he couldn't find it. He's driving around in circles in some warehouse.
Mhm.
Smart. And I mean, so Amazon takes a different approach, right? They label the nonsense out of their data centers. Have you ever seen one of their data centers, Brandon?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
They're huge. They're labeled AWS, right?
But the amount of security they have, I'm sure, is high.
It does, right? But so they took the marketing approach rather than and they implemented tons of security. But also, you got to realize their data centers are a moneymaker for them. Bank of America, I'm sure they view their data centers as more of a cost.
Right.
Because it's just hosting their services, and their retail banking is the big part of their business.
Well, and as you know, with the banks, Amazon's dealing with millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Banks are dealing with trillions.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So, I mean, I remember being on a trading floor and watching like billions of dollars being transferred, right? Country money kind of thing. And I was just like, what? Oh my God. And then I was thinking about the movie The Office. If they were just moved a decimal and just send that to my bank account, how would that could we do that? Like, was that possible?
Yeah. But Vivek is leewaying us right into the next section, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, OMG, Texas has its own energy grid, but still didn't respond well to the winter storm. So they even had a team of people who were supposed to be analyzing the risks against the energy grid. So here, I would say, here's probably why it's difficult to do that for an energy grid, right? And I pulled this up because I was looking for more of an industrial type threat. But okay, yeah, we have extreme hot and cold, right? But what if we can handle extreme cold, Brandon?
Right.
I'm not talking about precipitation. I'm just saying it gets wicked cold. Okay,
right.
So extreme cold, we're good. Texas, thunderstorms, we're set. Lightning, not going to phase us. Heavy rains, flooding, we're properly graded. We have the protections to avoid heavy rains and flooding. Snow, we're good on snow. Freezing rain and ice, maybe a little, right? Mm-hmm. For the amount we get in Texas, potentially. Hail, yep, we're set. Cyclones, maybe wind gusts, but freezing rain and extreme cold, they weren't prepared for both, right? And extended periods of time for both. So was it a miscalculated risk? Vivek, I'd love to hear what you think may have been the issue on this. Or if they relied too much on a certain type of power. Once again, you hear that in the news, right? It's more politicized now than I would prefer, but was it too much green energy, not enough natural gas? I don't know. And how do you balance that in the future? Because it's going to have to be a mix of both based on policies moving forward. So,
well, and you look at some of this too, is as we know, as all of us has been studying the CISSP and going through it, you look at you gotta look at acceptable risk. And a lot of times when they weigh it, well, how many times in Texas are we going to get this rain, freezing, snowstorm all together? And they're probably like the likelihood, it's like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100, right? It's probably low. So they don't really kind of plan for it. And then all of a sudden it happens and you're like, okay, well, now they're caught with their pants down. So I think it's kind of more of that line. I mean, it's like us in Canada, right? In Toronto, a lot of companies don't plan for tornadoes, right? Because we just don't get them, right? We're in the belt. We're in the what they call is the banana belt. So getting a tsunami or a tornado is, unlikely. So companies will have that as a low risk, an acceptable risk a lot of times. But if we ever got hit with a tornado, now what are they going to do, right?
Yeah, because you guys are not prepared for tornadoes, right? At all whatsoever. Now, Brandon, Peter Franklin said something really interesting that I actually didn't even know was a thing. I'm going to throw this up on the screen real quick. Did you know buried data centers are a thing?
No, but I mean, I've seen stuff like with Elon Musk and what they've been doing. So it doesn't shock me.
This is wild. Peter, I had no idea that they're burying data centers, but I guess there's a bunch of benefits. From cooling to all kinds of stuff, there's benefits to having underground data centers. And it looks like there's a bunch of people making that move, right? You got to think you don't have to worry about electromagnetic pulse. I mean, flooding would probably be your issue, but if you can route the water away from it, you're fine. But hurricanes, tornadoes,
Earthquakes.
if you're underground, you don't have to worry about rain, snow, sleet, hail.
Right, but you'd have to worry about earthquakes, collapses potential, right?
Mhm.
Because if there's an earthquake and it shakes the beams and they don't have enough of the resistance to be able to handle that,
Right.
like you said, potential floods, right? If depending on where they are near water, fires, right? It's fire suppression, things along that line would be interesting in those situations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's just a different set of risks depending on where you are and how you design your business, right? So it's wild. So now we're talking about facility designs. Let's talk about business facility designs, and then I promise to talk about your home and what you can do to better secure your home. So let's go ahead and jump right in, Brandon. You ready? So we did touch on these. It's not a theory; it's idea, but basically CP. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting it right now.
CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Say it one more time fast.
Crime prevention through environmental design.
Oh, you're good. All right. But doing this for your business is important, right? Depending if you're JoJo's and you have no, bushes around, anything like that, you don't have to worry about this as much. But when you're an organization that's in a city, you have different things you have to focus on. So here's a quick example. And when we're looking at this, let me see if I can blow this up for you a little bit. And it's kind of blurry. I apologize. But do you have large windows above ground level to give you supervision of the street, to give you a higher perspective of what's going on? Do you have clear building signage, right? Is the exterior of your building well illuminated, or is it dark and around the corner, right? So somebody can spend a lot of time there and nobody would see them.
Mhm.
Do you have large windows at grade to promote surveillance from the street? So can people see into your business to make sure nothing bad is happening? And then is it clearly defined that it's a public or private space? Interesting stuff to think about when you're in a city on the street, right?
And do the people inside have line of sight?
Right. And is that big tree there? Is it blocking your upper window line of sight?
Mhm.
So lots of different considerations. Now, did you deal when you were doing physical security? Were you in cities? Were you rural? Where were you focused on mainly, Brandon?
Both. I mean, one of the I used to work for the Skydome, which is now the Rogers Center. So you want to talk about physical security? I mean, we had the whole event center we had to lock down, right, and look at all the different aspects of it, right? So, and especially through events, and with you got Disney on Ice to WWE/WWF at the time, right? So you have thousands and thousands concerts where 70,000 people are there. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration, especially when you're dealing with, like you said, the first thing you're looking at is, health and safety. You're looking at people's lives first, right? And then everything, all the other factors.
Yeah, no, that's wild. I had no idea that was your past experience. And then you talk about InfoSec and supporting those centers. It's unreal. I do have to share something Sean just threw up. Check this out, guys. I had no idea this was a thing, but turns out that Microsoft had underwater data centers, and they said it's reliable, practical, and a use and has energy sustainability. So that was a data center in a tube. And other than being a little grimy, it went in shiny, but other than being covered in barnacles, they retrieved it. It was working, and it was a sustainable option. So it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to continue that effort in the future.
I wonder if they're going to use the ocean as the natural source of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
The currents.
Potentially, that would be interesting, right? I don't know if that's what they were doing for this effort. I'll have to dig in deeper. But yeah, interesting stuff. Now let's go back, blast from the past. Guys, think back really hard to when you were in high school.
Right. Okay.
Brandon.
Bleachers. Yeah, I got it. Bleachers, basketball.
I did not. Okay. Bleachers. Did you hang out under the bleachers?
Oh yeah, of course.
Who hang out under the bleachers?
Right. Who didn't hang out, watch the game, You saw the cheerleaders, whatever they may be. Of course you're there.
I mean, I was on the bleachers for that part, but under the bleachers after school hours, right? Definitely hanging with friends and stuff. So, but like this was on the Florida school district site. Is they're talking about, and I get this wrong, CPTED, but as soon as I see it on the exam, I know exactly what they're talking about. But CPTED around schools, right? Are you blocking hidden areas, blocking access to this so kids aren't getting beat up under the school stairs, right? Kids aren't hanging out and doing drugs or making out under the school bleachers, right? You have to implement this no matter what your line of business. You got to think about some of these things because that's where people could hang out or avoid detection, or somebody's coming down the stairs, boom, you hide there, security guard walks past, they scoot around, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought this was an interesting perspective. It was actually a really long report, so there's some good stuff in there, but bleachers were from my high school days, so figured I'd bring it back.
Well, that's the other thing is when you look at cameras and line of sight, when they set up cameras at egress or access points, they're looking to make sure that they can monitor recording to see if anyone does pass by someone, tailgate, whatever that may be, and has unauthorized access as they're going through. Because they could tailgate, say that one that you were showing about the staircase, there could be an exit right there, a fire exit that someone snuck in, and now they have access to the building, and that staircase can go all the way up. Now, some of the companies now and organizations now have you can't access from the staircase. You have to access from inside the office and out for emergency, but you can't actually go up to the floor and get access.
Yeah, no, and a lot of organizations should be doing that, to be honest. I know ours does as well. It's a pain in the hiney, but it works, and it's frustrating as all get out when your technology doesn't work right. Right. So let's talk about how you can do CPTED for your home. And it looks like Peter Franklin actually did this for the government, which is cool. So love your insight into what you've done for your home since you used to do it for your for the government. So let's talk about what you can do for your home real quick. And we're going to start up here. Did you know that police actually recommend that they recommend against privacy fences? Mm-hmm. Did you really? I had no idea. You'd think keep them out of your house, like out of your backyard. They would recommend privacy fences, but I guess they recommend against it. But if you have one, plant hedges or thorny bushes on the outside to deter people climbing it.
Right.
But I guess once you're over the fence, if you don't have a dog, like nobody from the street can see you, right?
Exactly. And then what happens is someone can be in your backyard, right?
Yep. Spot on. Now, keep doorways well lit, partially visible from the street, right? So if you have a house with giant bushes in front of your doorway, so it's kind of hidden, cut those bad boys back. I just installed those Philips Hue outdoor lights, motion sensors. I'm such a nerd. My wife is like, will you quit being a nerd and like spying IoT stuff? But I love it. So they got sensors. So if it's a motion sensor detection, they turn red. I got it all hooked up. It's fun. Anyways. Remove trellises from the walls to prevent them from being used as ladders, which I thought was interesting.
Especially when you have second floor windows and things along that line, right? They can climb up. I mean, anyone that has teenagers, right, know that they'll actually do the reverse. They'll sneak out from their bedrooms and go down.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting. Sean said police recommend against them because police can't climb over fences. Are you making a donut joke, Sean? You were saying because they're wearing a lot of equipment. I'm going to say he's making a donut joke. No, okay, moving on. Motion activated stuff, kind of touched on that. Install self-closing gates, right? So if it gets left open one day, it's not hanging open because people will be like, oh, open gate, cool. Is there a bike behind here?
Actually, that's not the case. So what they self-closing gates, you have your hands full and you're going to the gate. Yeah. It's so someone can't follow you in. So what happens is the gate closes behind you.
Interesting. So you don't want somebody kind of sneaking in, kind of waiting behind a bush and sneaking in.
And behind you, say you have your groceries and you're going in there. What happens is as you're going through the gate, it should close behind you, right? And then what happens is that person can't get access. It's a deterrent, of course. If they want to get access, they'll catch up. They'll open the door. They'll go over, but it's a deterrent, right?
Oh, makes sense. I didn't think of that. Also, question for you, Brandon. Do you have a garage?
No.
Okay, darn. I have a garage, and I can't tell you the last time I physically put my key in it and locked it.
Oh, really?
Is that bad? I mean, it's closed, but like, you could probably force it up, right? But like when you lock it, it's got like a metal bar that goes either way and goes.
Right.
I don't lock it. Now you guys don't know where I live, and even if you do, I'll see you trying to pull up my garage, and I'll talk to you through my cameras. But I can't tell you the last time I locked my garage. So I'm going to ask you guys: are you guys locking your garage when you leave? Throwing it out there. So let's keep going. Shrubs, keep them below 2 to 4 feet. Limit your fences in the front yard to under 4 feet. They should be see-through in the front yard. Trim your shrubs. Prune tree branches to 6 to 7 feet off the ground. So like Brandon said earlier, nobody's climbing up, throwing something through your second-story windows. And plant thorny bushes such as rose bushes under windows. But that means you got to keep them trimmed. I don't know about you. Do you have any plants outside, Brandon?
No, I actually live in a apartment, right? So I'm good.
Gotcha. See, I got some rose bushes, and those things like poof every year, and like pain to cut those and get pricked every year. But hey, that's what's recommended. So hopefully you guys are inspired to do some yard work after this.
Or maybe not. You'll see everyone. They'll just cut everything down.
I know, right? Just privacy fence. Nope. All right. But I promised that I would show you a quick picture of my house and kind of what I've done for security. Actually, I didn't promise that, but I'm going to do it anyways. So here you go.
So hold on. So does David Gear says my 2 German Shepherds are my locks.
Oh, heck yeah. See, I want a German Shepherd real bad. My wife won't let me get one. Here's what I've done instead.
So I'll actually go. Just be mindful of your dogs too, as a security measure. There's a lot of things that, you know, as David does know, and anyone that out there with your dogs. I used to work with attack dogs, right? When I used to work for Wackenhut. One thing you got to be careful is if they actually feed the dog sleeping pills.
Oh, because they'll eat it, right?
They'll throw the meat over and put it in. So as you guys look at security, and all you guys have that mind, we have to think like criminals, right? And if they know you have 2 big dogs, what they'll do is they'll put the sleeping pills in the actual steak and then throw it over the fence, right? And then your dogs will eat it and they'll be asleep. Hopefully it doesn't hurt them, but you know, I've seen stuff like that where it's scary.
I don't know if I'd go and buy a steak for a dog.
If you're gonna go break. Okay, so here's a funny story.
I'm a chicken nugget, 99 cents. No, you're gonna buy a steak.
Here's the funny story. So what happened was, when I was working security, one of the families that we got a report on had their barbecue stolen. So they're like, okay, I had my barbecue stolen, I'm going to report it. So a couple days went by, the barbecue was returned. In the barbecue was actually tickets to the Blue Jay game, like the following week for the whole family. So what happened was, family's going like, I'm going to go to the Blue Jay game. Oh my God, someone brought it back. It must have been a kid that's playing a joke. The whole family went to the Blue Jay game. We came back. Their house was all robbed and everything was gone.
Walk me through that chain of events. So first time their barbecue is gone.
First time their barbecue was gone. It was brought back in the middle of the night, and there was an actual envelope with all Blue Jay tickets. Right? So what the criminals did is they bought Blue Jay tickets.
Yep.
They knew that the people were going to be gone for 4 to 6 hours at watching the game. That the whole family was going to be gone. So they had all that time to rob the house.
Wow.
So criminals will think that way, right? So as all of us know, bringing security, when you're looking at physical security and things along that line, they'll think of a way, right? And that was just one of those ones where you're just kind of looking at going, damn, like they planned it so the people were away. They knew that they were at a game.
That's wild. That is wild. So they actually got them out of their house, knew they'd be gone for a while.
Yeah.
Something
had free range of the house.
Now let me ask you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
How do you calculate this risk? Sean said he'll lose the trimming argument with his wife if he tries to trim his plants.
Right.
You don't take that into account when you're implementing CPTED, do you? Also, I got to ask Peter, you said dogs are a trick question on the test. What do you mean by that? Please, dig in a little deeper to that for those on the show listening in. And then you guys did see a picture of my house. I got the moat around it. Nice spiked fence. I got a shade back there and cameras everywhere. So come try to get into my garage, see what happens.
I like the horses. I like the horses around, waiting for you to come out.
Yeah, that's the guy there. The guy there, he's got a bow and arrow too. So that's me too. I'll be walking those over the fence. All right. Moving on. That is not recommended by police to do that, by the way.
to be out in your pajamas with a bow and arrow.
Right, that's right. All right, good stuff. So while Peter's typing away and kind of giving us more insight into that, Brandon, kick us off on implementing site and facility security controls.
Yeah, sure. The security controls implemented to manage physical security can be divided into 3 groups: administrative, technical, and physical, because these are the same categories used to describe access controls. It is vital to focus on physical security aspects of these controls.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have we had Dirks jump on to the stream. He was messaging earlier, so welcome. Hopefully you saw on LinkedIn. Looks like you're on YouTube, so it's a pleasure to have you there as well. But let us know if you had issues finding that LinkedIn link now that we're connected.
Yeah.
When we're talking about physical and site controls, you also have administrative physical security controls, right? This includes facility construction and selection, right? So are you doing an expansion on your facility? How does that work into your security guide or your security plan? You have site management, personnel controls, awareness training, and emergency response and procedures.
Right. Then you have technical physical controls, include access controls, intrusion detection, alarms, closed circuit televisions, CCTV, monitoring, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, HVAC, power supplies, and fire detection and suppression.
Yep. So technical physical control, fail number 1. Are you ready, Brandon?
Ready.
So we've got 5 fails for you today. Here we go. Technical physical, fail.
That's awesome.
Have you guys seen anything? I would love to hear if you guys saw some of this in the past. Peter, I'm sure working for the government, you saw some silly stuff, but that's number 1. If we're talking, did you touch on, so you hit, we haven't done that. The next, next one is physical controls for physical security, including the fencing, lighting, locks, construction materials, man traps, dogs, and guards. That would be a physical control. And that leads me to fail number 2. Ready for this one, Brandon? Here we go.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's see it.
You bought the toughest fences. You got barbed wire at the top. You got dogs that are now put to sleep. And your lock wasn't on there very tight. Oh, good stuff. So, yeah, guys, if you're going to implement the security control, don't leave that on the outside with 4 screws on it. What?
You know, there actually has been scenarios where I've seen the lock has been put on, like a padlock has been put on backwards.
Well, and then the famous one is the padlock or the lock with the Cheeto holding it together.
Right.
Have you seen that one? Yeah, that's a good one too. All right, cool. Now, as we talk into this, you have to design your physical security for an environment. Focus on a functional order, right? Which controls should be used. And I got a picture for you guys because there was no way I was remembering these 4 in order without that. Deterrence is number 1. Denial is number 2. Detection is number 3. And delay is number 4. So deter them. If deterrence doesn't work, try to deny them. And if you can't deny them, then you need to be able to detect them. And if you detect them, you got to be able to delay them until the security or police show up and arrive.
Now, do you have a picture for this?
I do have a picture for this. So let me whip this up for you real quick because this is really going to help you guys see where your protected assets are and how that ring works. So let's go ahead. Here we go. Here's your security ring. So on the perimeter, you want to deter them. They shouldn't even want to come close to your building. Barbed wire, dogs, a couple German shepherds, that'll do it for most people. If that doesn't deter them, though, you got to be able to deny them. Mm-hmm. So this one's actually missing one. I apologize. So deter, if you can't deter them, you have to deny them access, right? Man trap, locks, perimeter. Then if they get past that, you got to be able to detect them.
Right. So it does have deny. It just has it in the middle circle.
Oh, look at that. Well, that's not the order it says in the CISSP book. So we're going to take that deny and move it behind deter.
Right.
Talk to me about detection, Brandon. So like, let's say, okay, I put your dogs to sleep. You no longer deter me. I hop the fence. I get into your building.
So let's talk about deterrence, right? There's signage, there's fences, things, anything that like you can say no, like a deterrent is like saying you don't have access, unauthorized access to this environment, right? Or this area, right? So those are all deterrents, right? Then what happens is when you're trying to deny them, right? You have security, you have different things that are supposed to prevent them from going in. Then you look at detection, right? You have sensors, you have sensors, you have cameras, potentially have alarms that are detecting people, right? You have your motion detectors, whatever that may be. Those are all, areas of detection. So like you said, and then what you're looking at for that one, there's denial, detection, and then delay, right? You're going to try to delay them for response, right? The point is now they've been detected. They've gone through. Hopefully your security team, your alarms are going off. You're waiting for the police or the security guards to come up. So you're trying to deter them, right? Or at least hold them into a certain, state so that they can come and get, arrested or stopped. Now you can even delay them that you have like things that trigger, right? And trip. So you have access doors that all of a sudden lock, right? They have automated locks that now they lock and now it delays them from getting in. So now they have to take other measures. So you see people trying to cut the door and break the hinges and do all that. Now it's delaying them from getting in.
I like it. Now, what happens when it's sunset and everybody's watching the sunset?
Right? Everyone's looking left.
Overheat your keypads and it unlocks your door at sunset.
Okay, first and foremost, you have really terrible security. If at sunset, it's unlocked.
You did everything. You put keypads on the doors, but there was just a system failure that happened because the keypads overheated. Well,
right.
Peter, I'm glad you brought that up because that brings us in to our final section of the night, and that is equipment failure. So Brandon, kick us off on that right after I share Peter Franklin's last comment where he talked about dogs. Dogs lack the skill to differentiate between authorized and unauthorized personnel and can be a legal liability as the result of a civil lawsuit. Wow. Great point, Peter. So that could be a trick question. So remember that. They can't differentiate between authorized and unauthorized personnel and can be a liability.
Mm-hmm. So true. And that's why with attack dogs or any type of security dog, normally they're with their handler, right? Other than that, like you have junkyards and things like that have dogs that run around at night. You got to be very careful because they especially dogs have bad sight. They'll bite someone like at night, like they don't know the difference. It's a moving object. They'll just take a grip on them. So let's go to the equipment failure. No matter the quality of the equipment your organization choose to purchase and install, eventually it will fail. Understanding and preparing for this eventuality helps ensure the ongoing availability of your IT infrastructure and should help you to protect the integrity and availability of your resources. Preparing for equipment failure can take many forms. In some non-mission critical situations, simply knowing where you can purchase replacement parts for a 48-hour replacement time is sufficient. For those cases, establish a service level agreement with the hardware vendor is essential. An SLA clearly defines the response time a vendor will provide in the event of equipment failure and emergency.
Yeah, spot on, right? So when you're looking at your checklist, what are the things? And so I've had to help a lot of organizations kind of walk through their SLA audit. Like, when was the last time you checked to make sure that they were delivering on the SLA they provided you? Your internet provider, they said you had this % of uptime. Did they deliver? And everybody goes, I don't know. Well, did you know if you call and ask them, they have to provide that report?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you did that? Was it annually? 5 years? 10 years? When did that happen? So what's the scope of service being covered? What's the service provider responsibilities? Are you able to take the risk based on that service provided? What are your responsibilities as a customer? What are the performance metrics? And if there are performance metrics, are you monitoring them? Have you looked at them in the last year? And then what are the penalties if they're not? Can you get money back, right? Are you liable for it if they fail? These are all questions you got to ask on that SLA checklist.
Right. And I think that's one thing that, most organizations fail to review on an ongoing basis. And I don't know about you guys. I found this as the pandemics happened. Mm-hmm. Some companies that had MSPs that went out of business, they didn't realize it. They didn't realize until it's too late because they were so busy doing migrations and changing over and trying to do all that. And then when something happened, they had to call their MSP who had maybe a couple big contracts, a few smaller contracts. They're no longer available. Their phone's out of service. The website's down. So making sure that you review your SLA and going back over it is very important on if it's not quarterly, at least annually, right? And then even if you're having in events, like if you're actually having ongoing situations or having your team review it.
Yeah, spot on. Now, guys, you guys have stayed over time already. We are 5 minutes over. Thank you for spending time with us this evening. We're going to be jumping into more physical security next on Thursday. And then we're taking spring break after that. So one of the notorious questions that everybody gets wrong, or at least runs into on the exam, or that we've heard of, is that fire extinguisher question. Types of fire extinguishers. We're going to try to make it to this on Thursday. If not, we'll be back. What is that? Is that March 16th, Brandon?
I think so. Yeah, it's not the next. I think it's the 9th and then the 11th. It's the one after.
The one after that, and we'll be back. We'll be wrapping up physical security that week, and then we'll be jumping into the following chapters. So, guys, we got a few more chapters left. For those of you looking to take the exam for CISSP, we looked to register, and it's already booked up through April and May. So if you're looking to take it in the first half of this year, please get on there and look at the exam. It is $699 USD to take the exam, but lock in your spot sooner than later if you're trying to do it, because at this point we'll probably be done around the May timeframe. Brandon, what do we think?
I think so. I mean, we're pretty close to be done the actual book that we're reviewing with, and then now we're going to have to go back through you guys and review. Right, start to do some review stuff and make sure you guys got everything and you're prepared, right? Because I think the biggest thing for us, all of us, is now making sure we have everything down. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. One of the courses that I'm taking right now is memory recall, speed reading, right, and speed and quick thinking, right? So I'm going to give you guys some tips on studying and preparation as well.
That's what's up. Also, quick tip: when does that new exam type come in?
It was soon, wasn't it? I thought wasn't it Peter that was telling us about it?
Yeah. So you may, if you want to take the old exam type, I'm not sure when that is dropping, but it's going to be dropping here soon. So May 1st, the fee will increase on May 1st. Oh, wow. So if you're looking to take it for a cheaper price, you're going to want to get on and book it today. So that is our PSA of the day, public service announcement, guys. It has been a pleasure. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Cutting Into Cybersecurity live stream. It is an honor to be here. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. I'm giving you all a round of applause. You guys did great. Emmanuel and Vivek, you guys have a gift card coming to you as soon as this is over. Brandon?
Awesome.
See you, buddy.
Oh, have a good night.